Welcome, and welcome out there. 9:30 on the dot p.m. March 10th. It's Mario Day. I've done literally nothing for Mario Day, but we may do a little Mario Kart special tonight after we take care of some Star Wars stuff. So if you're joining me live, or if you're joining me on the replay, welcome to Extra Star Wars. I am your host, Sean, of many different things around the interwebs. We're covering the comics, but before we get to the introduction of the comics, I am sure by this time you have seen the Kenobi trailer. And what are your thoughts on it? Leave a comment below. I'm thinking it's going to be all right. I'm actually not a fan of the Grand Inquisitor and how it looks like other people. I think it's a valid point. I don't think it looks like the species, but guess what? We can't have it all. And honestly, it's the nitpickiness of Star Wars fandom that annoys me, but it's okay. You're allowed to be nitpicky. Lizard, a wizard in the chat. What's going on, friend? Long time no see. It's been a minute. We're talking some comics, but before we get to comics, we're talking Kenobi. The Kenobi trailer, if you check out the Instagrams over at Extra Star Wars, boom, you'll see about a 6 to 7 minute reaction to it. And, I mean, I'm not like over the moon on it because I've been so hyper-focused in on comics the past 4 weeks. But as it gets a little bit closer and we get a little bit more teases here and there and the marketing Disney machine starts to ramp up, I'm sure I'll get a little bit more excited for it. But I do have my reservations about it, as it's just another story within a story that has eventually going to deal with the Skywalker. So until they branch out, Star Wars is stuck, it's stalemated, it is whatever it is. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I want to get through 6 comics tonight, 1 side story, 1 main story. Here we go. Welcome to Extra Star Wars. Over the next 100 days, and before the Kenobi series debuts, Extra Star Wars is going to tackle the comics. The comics are a hard medium to keep up on as they're constantly in motion, crossing over between storylines and branching off into a multiverse of madness. Journey with me as we learn some of the details you'll never see on any screen, learn some ridiculous Easter eggs, and help me understand more of this Star Wars galaxy. Extra Star Wars presents Weekly Comics. Yeah, buddy. So here we are. We're on Weekly Comics here, number 4. And yes, Lizard Wizard. I've been here and there. For 4 weeks, we've been doing a little live streamy stuff on this channel. The previous 2 weeks, I guess 6 weeks ago, we did Book of Boba Fett live with Damien and Mike for chapters 6 and 7. The previous 5 weeks before that was just all off-air podcasting. So yes, I would agree with you. You probably haven't seen any streams, and I haven't really been gaming, but just in the past couple weeks, I've picked up gaming again over at the Extra Techie page. We're posting on a lot of Mario Kart stuff. I'm just so pumped up for the courses that I've just been like grinding Mario Kart, so hopefully we'll be able to do more of that tonight after tonight's stream. So what I like to do is I like to get started because there's no time to lose, as always, and we have our first side story. Boom. All right, so this is just a comic that I picked up. I didn't necessarily finish the series out, but this particular comic I bought, it must have been back in 2014, 2015, because it's The Journey to Star Wars The Force Awakens. So I think it is one of my earliest pickups on Amazon, as you can tell with the little barcode sticker there. And I just want to kind of go through the storyline with you as we before we get back into our High Republic sort of stuff. So if you're catching this on the replay, there's a good chance that I've already broken down this live video into smaller, shorter segments, which just concerned each individual comic. As of the recording of this night on March 10th, I have the Rise of Kylo Ren issues 1 through 4 and the High Republic issues 1 through 7 already up on the YouTube channel. So you just have to go over there, hit the playlist tab, and then you can just watch those. And they're not very long. They're 6 to 8 minutes in length each. And all it does is really cover the main points of the story. So I don't read word for word because you should really support the authors, but I will go ahead and tell you the storyline with minor spoilers and other sort of tidbits that I pick up on it. So yeah. So this is called Star Wars Shattered Empire, and it is a preview. It's not really a preview, but it's a way to bridge the story between episode 6 and episode 7. So, as I'm sure you know, I know I was. I can't speak for anybody else, but I was so excited for episode 7. I saw the movie 7 times in theaters. I wanted all of the content, give me everything possible. And I don't know why I bought this comic, but I just thought it was such a cool thing to have stories after Return of the Jedi. And how is the Empire going to be? And how are they going to explain things? And I was really, really giddy about it. And I miss that wonder, to be honest with you. I miss a lot of that because now that we know, it's a little disappointing, I guess, in some things. So let's take a look at some of this stuff. Look at the artwork here, right? We got our buds, right? We got our main trio with our droids, our little Ewok here. Lando's super happy. Chewie's right there, right? So right off the bat, we're very familiar with everything that's going on here. They're obviously celebrating the Empire being defeated, but was the Empire defeated? We're going to find out. It is the final moments of the Battle of Endor. Amidst the stars above the forest moon, rebel forces have engaged the evil galactic empire in a desperate final confrontation, hoping to end the tyrannical rule of Emperor Palpatine and bring peace to the wearied and battered galaxy. But the rebel fleet has fallen into a trap. The second Death Star is fully operational, and on Endor's moon, the energy shield protecting it still stands. What was to be a moment of triumph now teeters on the brink of disaster. Now rebel pilots have engaged Imperial forces in furious dogfights, frantically trying to protect the rebellion's capital ships and to buy enough time to rescue victory from the jaws of defeat. Buy Dr. Pepper. Make sure you buy it. So we're just getting a little precursor of where is it placing us in the environment, and we're going right into the final battle. Wham! So just giving us some scenery. We've got Vader battling Luke. We've got space battles. They're on the forest moon Endor, and we have like a new character here. And we have another new character in one of these A-Wings, and that's going to be where the story mainly focuses. It doesn't really focus in on our normal characters like Luke, Vader, Han, and Lando, although they will make appearances. It does focus in on a side story, and let's see where it takes us. So we do have a mention of Shara, and she is part of the Green Squadron. She is Green Force specifically. And she is hoping that Kex and the team can get the shield down alongside, Han Solo and Chewbacca and stuff like that on the Forest Moon of Endor. So here is Shara right here. She is an A-Wing pilot. She's a pretty good pilot. She stays alive, which is kind of awesome. All right. They finally find out that the shields are down. The shields are down, and they escort the Falcon to the innards of the Death Star 2. Here it is, sorry. The innards of the Death Star 2. And they're like, do you want us to follow? And they're like, no, we got this. And they're like, thank God, we'll just cover you from out here because that's just the way it is. And, they start to do their little patrols across Death Star 2. And oh, looky here, a Lambda-class shuttle is attempting to evacuate, and Shara sees this, so she just pulls a little UB here and tries to go after the Lambda shuttle, only to find out that it is the Lambda-class shuttle that Luke Skywalker is piloting with dead Anakin Skywalker aboard it, right? So I remember reading this comic and I was like, holy shitballs, we are making great connections here. Of course there would have to be something going on in terms of, like, what was happening, how did Luke get out and whatever. So Shara decides to cover for him. There are some TIE fighters involved. She hits the brakes, gets behind the TIE interceptors and blows them to smithereens. And at that same moment, the Death Star escapes and Death Star 2 blows up. The pilots gather in the hangar to celebrate. They lose a lot of people. There's lots of mention of, we lost half of Yellow Squadron, some of Green Squadron, And then Lulo, who I think we'll find out is in maybe Battlefront 2 at some point. I gotta check my reference there. Lulo is now in charge just due to death. And Shara is like, hey, is there a way that I can get planet side so I can check for Kex? Or Kes, excuse me, not Kex. Kes, K-E-S. Because I'm worried about him. Obviously, they're in, like, some sort of relationship. Whatever. No big deal. Boom, we go planet side to Ewok City. I know that's not the name of it, but that's what I'm calling it. Shara is looking for Kes. Lots of celebratory stuff. She's concerned. Celebratory stuff. Look, C-3PO is dancing. We've got the Ewoks playing the drums on the Stormtrooper helmets, which are cool. Right, we've got Lando and Han Solo. They're doing their thing where, like, you did what to my ship? You know, when the what is it? The communications array kind of fell off, and then Shara sort of inserts herself into this conversation. So another crossover. Hey, have you seen the Pathfinders? They're over in this hut. Lando tries to flirt with her, which is pretty fun, and she goes off to see them. Hold on, we skipped a page here. So the Pathfinders are in the this little tent area. They finally get to see each other, and they're like, hey, can we go somewhere? And we find out that this is Kes Dameron. That is right. Poe Dameron's dad and mom. And you know how I can tell it's Poe Dameron's dad and mom? Because they have a little nice embrace here, and they're clearly in love with fireworks in the background, and they want to get away, they want to build a house, but they're thinking that the battle is not over, and whoopsie-daisy, it's the next morning, and Shara's got some bedhead here, not sure from what, and something's going on where the Pathfinders have to sort of get themselves together, because there's going to be another mission, of course, because you just don't blow up the Death Star and then magically everybody goes away. Of course there's going to be Imperial holdouts, and that's exactly what Han Solo explains. There's Imperial holdouts on the far side of this moon. Admiral Maydean doesn't feel right leaving the Ewoks with these Imperials here, so we're going to go take care of them. Shara gets dressed, says, I'll pilot the crew ship or whatever it is, and as I realize I'm reading this, so, wow, this ship looks really familiar, but I couldn't really tell from this. Then I sort of saw it from this angle, and I was like, oh, damn, that's like a Republic gunship in a way. It just doesn't, it's just a little bit more built, so to speak. So they attack this Imperial holdout. They sort of say, like, hey, make sure you're careful. Heck of a time to tell me I want to build a house, blah, blah, blah. They're sort of having little flirty things. There's lots of laser cannon fire and stuff. And the Pathfinders and Solo team are ripping into this Imperial holdout. Solo's like, all right, everybody get in. We're going to take care of this stuff. And Shara's like, well, I guess we were going to build a house, but now we're just going to do this thing where we're dangerous again. They eventually make their way out. Yeah, there was a lot of data in their computers, a lot of comm traffic, a lot of plans. So they're setting up data comms plans for future stuff. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. And that's how Shattered Empire sort of ends. It's a to be continued, and I never continued it, so I actually don't know where it goes from here. Which is why it's a side story, right? So we get introduced to Shara Bay and Kes Dameron. which is a wonderful, wonderful thing because we got Poe Dameron down the line, and now we have Moon Knight, and there's no connection there except for the actor, but I just wanted to say something like that. Now, to your comments. Lizard Wizard says, yes, I miss the old days too, where you can come up with theories about what's going to happen next. It's always fun when comics put the spotlight on others rather than the main characters all the time. Agree. If I was an A-Wing pilot there, I would end up accidentally shooting the shuttle down. Absolutely, for sure. Everybody's getting blown up. Yeah, I remember him in the Battlefront 2 campaign. He was Iden's partner in some missions. Holler, good. I was glad I was right there. And then it's obvious that they had a massive pillow fight. Got their hair messed up. Of course. Why? What else would take two? So, yeah. Right, so that sort of ends our little side stories there. So let's keep going, right? We've got some main stuff to go on. Again, I've been high on the High Republic, and I want to continue telling these stories because I don't think people really know about the High Republic, but we're just going to keep going. So let's get into our main story. Absolutely, here we go. All right, so let's just take a look. Let's do a little preview here. So we've got the High Republic Adventures. It is absolutely aimed and pegged at, like, kids, I'm guessing, because it's very sort of colorful, not as serious as the other stuff. But I wanted to get into it because I'm really passionate about shouting out the High Republic. I jumped on the High Republic train when it first came out. I was excited because it has nothing to do with the normal Star Wars story. There is a little bit of a pain point because they eventually have to get to the original Star Wars stories. How they get there will be the interesting journey, and how they connect it all together, I guess, will be the interesting journey. But Phase 1 of the High Republic literally just ended, like, within a couple weeks ago with a couple more publications. Last week, I finished out number 15 of the High Republic on live, stream here, and we're going to put out numbers 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 sometime, probably next week or this weekend or whatever we have time. So we're going to go through issues 1 through 5 here, and the reason why we're only doing 5 is because at 5, it ends what they were considering part 1. So to put number 6 in there, that would just be silly in my brain. So we're going to start with number 1. Now, of course, we have a ton of new characters to learn about, so bear with me as we get started. So check out this beautiful cover. We've got High Republic Jedi riding on some sort of motorcycle thing with a couple of Jedi friends. Let's learn all about them. Star Wars, the High Republic. Let me do a little zoomies. The galaxy is at peace, ruled by the glorious Republic and protected by the noble and wise Jedi Knights. As a symbol of all that is good, the Republic is about to launch Starlight Beacon into the far reaches of the Outer Rim. This new space station will serve as a ray of hope for all to see, but just as a magnificent renaissance spreads throughout the Republic, so does a frightening new adversary. Now the Guardians of Peace and Justice must face a threat to themselves, the galaxy, and the Force itself. Now, if you've been following along with weekly comics, or you've been catching some of my High Republic stuff, yes, we have actually gone back in time. This starts back when this first story starts out. So we read an entire arc of comics, which takes us from point A to point B. We are basically back at point A, and we're going to see how things cross over, because even in the regular High Republic series, this series is mentioned. So it's going to be some good stuff. All right, we always start out with a little cover page here. It's called Collision Course, and it's written, and let's give some credit to Daniel Hosey Older, or DJ Older on Twitter. Art by Harvey Tolabal. Colors by Rebecca Nolte. Letters by Jake M. Wood. Riley Farmer. Elizabeth Bray. And then, of course, right down here, which is very tiny, you can't really see it, Michael Seglain, creative director, who is basically the Kevin Feige of this initiative. Okay, so to paint that picture for me. Okay, here we go. So we have an opening scene, and there's a Dug here. The Dug species is like Sebulba. There's an emergence. So if you're not familiar with the emergences, the Hetzel system had a hyperspace disaster where a ship got ripped out of hyperspace and spread debris across the galaxy. And a lot of the Jedi have been stopping these emergences, but some get through and some do some massive damage. And an emergence sort of comes towards this planet, this ship, and they call for help. It's coming out of hyperspace, and that cuts to the Star Hopper. A Padawan academic cruiser. Wait a second, we're not talking about Jedi here? No, we're just talking about Padawans here. Here are the characters. We've got Lula, Talisola. We've got Yoda. Yes, that Yoda. The exact same one you're thinking about. We've got Quart, which I think is here. We've got Farzala, which is basically Link from The Legend of Zelda. Okay, and then a smattering of other fuse, which we'll get to. The Star Hopper is responding to the distress call, and Lula is very concerned. She's like, hey, listen, my name is Lula, and I have a secret. I've trained all my life to become the greatest Jedi ever. I've aced all my exams. This is our first real mission. I should be ready. I should be unshakable, and I can think about how wrong, and all I can think about is how wrong everything is about to go. We cut to this side, and this story does a lot of parallel storytelling. So if you notice, everything is sort of literally the same, right? We have an opening shot, we've got a wide shot, we've got 2 blocks, and then 2 slivers, right? This is Zine Marala. This is Crix. Zine has been taught that the Force should be avoided like fire, that the Force is bad, the Force is dangerous. But Zine has that power, and she's trying to shut herself off from it. We get introduced to Master Turbin Buck. Okay, Master Turbin Buck. What we have here is a delayed fallout from the Hetzel system, the emergences. The Padawans are reporting. All right, let's go. Here we go. The Padawans are reporting. Where am I? Hello. Yes, to the surface to move people to safety, while the masters, Yoda and Buck, handle the bigger chunks that are falling out of the sky. We have Cham, which is a cute little creature. Get the plushie. We have a strange ship incoming, this little spider ship. I think it's Nile. That's what my assumption is as of this point. We have rescue ships that look like strange corvettes or muscle cars coming down, which is kind of cool. We have Elder Tromac, who's this dude who's like, he's the leader of this cult that just doesn't like Force users, which I guess we'll just accept. And we have these characters that look awfully a lot like the Nile, so we don't have a very good situation. Of course, Zine and Crix are sort of together here. They're not really sure what's going on. One of the things that I've been loving about this series is we get these galactic data files, so it kind of gets you caught up in what's been happening. So let's get in here for a second. So here we go. A Republican Jedi space station offering a ray of hope to the galaxy. This is Starlight Beacon. This is what it looks like. We have Coruscant. We have Trimont. And essentially there's a map here. Here's Starlight Beacon. Here's Trimont. That's Tatooine. Here's the Hetzel system. They got crushed. Here's the core with Coruscant. We have Kashyyyk. We have Yavin. So again, just giving us an idea of the spacing of where everything takes place. Which, you know what, I really appreciate, because I'm a map guy and I like seeing where things are happening. All right, so again, as we fly through this story, just pardon me, Crix and Zine are trying to escape the Nile, but the Nile stop them. The backstory of Zine's culture, they are separated from the parents at a young age to live with others, but they kind of commune together. It's kind of an interesting culture. They don't exactly have their biological parents, but they have guidance, so to speak. Padawans are shooting debris out of the sky to protect the patrons. The patrons are cheering for them. They need a bigger ship and see the Nile cruiser coming on in. Tromac sort of pleads, like, we need to do something, but, you know, about our little young ones, and they're like, nah, we can't do anything. Lula asks for a ship. Zine is sort of floored. Crix is scared. And then all of a sudden, boom, a battle opens up. A fight opens up. Zine opens herself up to the Force to hold back the debris, and people are like, wait a gosh darn second. Look at this thing going on. She's holding it back for the first time, allowing her Force powers to come on through. Everybody's like, what? Huh? What? Hey, whoa. Crix is very upset by this because she, you know, they're supposed to be against the Force. And Lulu helps her out, and Crix, again, just not happy about it. And it sort of ends with this menacing character right here telling them to kill them all. Just take a look at that scene for a second. To be continued, of course. To be continued. So, off to a nice start. Just to recap for you, we've got Lula, we've got Zine. Zine has Force power. Zine and Crix are friends. They don't believe in the Force. They're dealing with an emergent situation. They get to planet side. They're helping. The Nile show up. We're not sure why they're there. There's a battle that breaks out. Zine reveals her Force powers. And a Nile leader shows up. And I think it's Marchion Ro. And if you don't know who Marchion Ro is, well, I suppose you have to read Light of the Jedi, which is the adult novel. Okay, dokie. What we got here? All right. We've got a blue lightsaber girl, Rock Icicle Man, and the other guy. Yes, lots of new characters for sure. Imagine getting your ship ripped out of hyperspace by a noob. Yeah, no, the Niles are definitely experienced. Spaghetti Hair Girl, why use the Force when you can just have a giant umbrella? That is fair. I don't know if they make them that big. They can step under the spider ship, of course. All right. We continue on. We've got 4 to go. Thank you for sticking with me. We're about to hit that half-hour mark. I always try to keep these shows under 1 hour in length. That way we're not wasting your time and we're getting through the information rather quickly. Here we go. Chaos on Bralanak City amidst another emergence following the great disaster in hyperspace. The Padawans of the Starhopper try to commandeer a spider cruiser to help evacuate the citizens of Trimont 4. On the alien planet, these Jedi in training met the young Force-sensitive Mikian, Zine Morala, and her friend Crix Camarat, and the terrifying marauders known as the Nile. And this is called Bralanak City Smackdown. And as we just thumb on through here, they are surrounded by the Nile, and the Padawans prepare for battle. Yoda and buckets of blood are here. What the heck? He looks menacing for sure. The Padawans are like, wait, what? What did you just call yourself? The leader of the Nile, I'm not sure if it's Ro at this time, explains about being a Force user in the culture, sort of to Crix and Tromac and stuff. So at this point, they're sort of separated. You know, although together, Zine and Crix are separated. Zine asks Lula to help save Crix. Crix is confused. Tromac needs him as an administrative assistant, I guess. He's pleading with the leader right here. Yoda says that he'll go after the boy. Wait, Buckets of Blood is just a healer? You know, he's not really a menacing character at all. He's a healer. Yoda does some cool stuff, and off he goes. The leader of the Nile knows it's Yoda and is off to a ship with Tromac in tow with Crix. Yoda sort of stows away on the ship. Right there. There's a big time battle happening, an assault between parties, and we get our first galactic data file here. Look at the Nihil Spider Cruiser. Really cool. So, ships of the High Republic, Nihil, air and ground transport. It's very large at 18 meters. And then we have the Starhopper, was a Jedi Academic Cruiser, which is 30 meters. So the Jedi Academic Cruiser is longer than the Spider Cruiser. Okie dokie. Yoda gives Crix a receiver to communicate to Zine. The Padawans are holding the Nihil back. Zine is helping. Buckets of Blood is against fighting, but punching sort of everything. Punch, punch, punch. Just then, the Republic rescue fleet arrives. Yoda is still skulking around. Crix alarms the Nihil, so he's kind of betrayed Zine right there. Cham attacks and, like, eats a lot of things. Buckets of Blood is a bad name for a healer, in my opinion. That's what I wrote down. It's not part of the story, but I just think it's a bad name for a healer. They think Yoda is on the ship, but he is not, as the Nihil ship takes off. He says that Cham ate some fingers and an arm of a Nihil, which was kind of yikes. Look at that little guy. He's all tuckered out. Yoda tells Zine Crix didn't want to be saved. The Nihil ship readies their target and fires on the medical frigate Cthulhu. Cthulhu. Let's see. Crix is questioned and comes to realize that she is no one to me. He is like super pissed off at the whole force powers thing. Zine is sad, but Lula and the team comfort her, and they approach Starlight Beacon as this issue comes to a close. So we leave Trimont, the Nihil escape, the Starhopper heads back to Starlight Beacon, and we've got new adventures now. Zine, a Force user, will they allow her to be a Jedi? Crix, pissed off at the world. What will he do with the Nihil and their influence? It's not looking good for the family. So I'd mess my pants up if I saw the giant spider in real life. Imagine how the characters were out for sure. It's a menacing ship, and well, buckets of blood can be taken two ways. A dude that takes your blood and puts it in buckets, or a guy that brings spare blood for you. And that's kind of was his point in the issue itself, is that he's like, yes, I heal a lot of stuff, and I want to make sure that you have enough blood. So buckets of blood. So that, it's a running joke. I just thought it was, when I first heard buckets of blood back when they were introducing this stuff, I just thought he was like a badass Jedi. That's really what I thought. So my expectations were subverted, of course. Anywho's. Number 3. Look at this cover. Nihil, Yoda, Zine, Crix. Just lovely. Lovely colors, lovely cartooning, as they would say. Number 3, a shocking revelation in Bralanak City. Force-sensitive Miki and Zine Morala has helped the Padawans of the Starhopper protect the citizens of Trimon 4 as they evacuate following the hyperspace disaster. But she is separated from her best friend Crix Camarad, who, shocked by Zine's new powers, has chosen to leave the planet in the company of the Nihil. The Nihil. Here we go. So, Crix and Zine are chatting through the communicator. Again, they do a lot of parallel storytelling here. On Starlight Beacon, Zine reminisces about what has been happening since she joined the Jedi. Lula comes in to gently tell her that the Jedi Masters are here. Now, real quick little sidebar here. We've got Master Avar Kriss right there. We have Master Yoda. Now, there's a point in the regular High Republic series that Yoda and another Master talks to Avar about a mission of some sort, but that Yoda can't attend because he's going to be with the Padawans on the Starhopper. And whew, there we go, IDW High Republic series right here. Okay. Flipping the page, we now switch to the Nihil, the Gaze Electric. So now that I know it's the Gaze Electric, and again, you wouldn't know this unless you read, the Gaze Electric is Marchian's Row flagship cruiser. So now I know that this person is Marchion Ro for sure. So Ro questions Tromac about an ancient relic. Now I know what this ancient relic he's talking about, and it's not very good. I did not anticipate a little mission on finding this ancient relic within this IDW series. So now I got my interest really, really peaked here. Crix reflects on the time there. Tromac won't tell Ro, and then, you know, Tromac has, like, sworn to secrecy. I can't tell you where this is. This is like a religious thing. I'm not allowed to tell anybody unless I'm on my deathbed. And then somehow Tromac and Crix, like, are talking together, and Crix is like, well, you should probably just tell me, because if you don't live, blah, 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 then who's gonna know? And he's like, you're right. So that's setting up the story. That's just the story device, and I don't think that is. So they end up thrust into this battle rink because Marchion Ro is a menace in general. Okay. Back on Starlight, the Masters chat about what to do with Zine, but they maybe should consult her friends. And look at everybody. They're like doing like some cool stuff. They're like, can she stay? Can she do this? She's a little too old to thing. And she's like, nah, she's cool. We're all her friends. And there's lots of cool little Jedi here. And maybe we'll get stories about them in Phase 2. Who knows? Galactic Data File. We've got Jedi Hierarchy of the High Republic. We have Younglings, Padawans, Jedi Knights, and Jedi Masters. I kind of thought that this was awesome, right? Younglings, Anakin Skywalker's favorite snack. Padawans, who we're dealing with now. Knights, who we dealt with in the High Republic regular series. And then, of course, Jedi Masters, mostly in the adult novel series, which I thought was coolio. Wait a second! A Max Rebo species sighting? What is going on here? Confirmed. No arms. How does he play the piano? Of course, with his feet. So I am blown away by this. The battle begins, and then literally as soon as the battle begins, Marchion Ro's like, stop the match. We found this beacon, this transmitter, and we need to figure out whose transmitter this is. Flipping back to Starlight Beacon. Zine's story spreads around Starlight, and they think about letting her stay temporarily while she has connections to the Nile. And then Yoda's like, hoo, I might be able to help find that other spider ship. So obviously that thing that he gave Crix has like a beacon in it of some sort, some kind of transmitter, like location transmitter. We flip back to the Gaze Electric. Crix betrays So Crix is like, that's not my transmitter, that's Tromac's transmitter. So Crix is just a big a-hole at this point. He is just betraying everybody right now, and we are not sure what's going back. Back to Starlight. Yoda explains about the projectors and how they have location beacons on them. Back to the Gaze Electric. Crix is taken to Ro. Ro is very impressed with his betrayal, but they find the transponder beacon. Back on Starlight Beacon, Avar and Yoda chat about their intentions, about a secret mission to the Gaze Electric and Starlight Beacon. Again, parallel stories happening at the same time between Crix and Zine. Both scenes play out parallel, and both Crix and Zine are asked to betray one another. Crix is on board. I'll try. And Zine is, I don't know. And that ends number 3. We got a pretty good storyline so far. I'm really liking the High Republic adventures. As you can tell, I'm pretty jazzed up about it. Yes. Master Yoda! Exactly. We have, always nice when you see the 5'2" blue elephant with no arms. Well, he does make an impression. He walks near Crix. Yes, my clown detector is off the charts. And then finally, Crix is just betraying people left and right. No, he is. He is, like, really fast. So he's... I'm hoping, you know, just, like, down the line that Crix shows up in other stories, you know, as a big baddie. You know, like, because then you have this little cool origin story of betrayal and deceit at a young age, which is kind of pretty cool. All right, 2 to go. 2 to go at the 40-minute mark. Number 4, Adventures. Love love the way she's holding this lightsaber. We got a lot of cool. Look at Cham Cham. Look at Cham Cham right now. He's just hanging out. Very cool. I also like that they didn't give her a lightsaber yet. Like, she's not a Jedi. She shouldn't have a lightsaber. All right. A true test of loyalty faces two young friends. Marchion Ro has offered Crix Camerat power and control. Master Yoda and the Jedi have offered Force-sensitive Zine Morales safety and a home. But in order to obtain these, they both must give up the only thing that has ever brought them peace. Each other. This is called The Mountain. So, Marchion Ro is confirmed according to this, right? So, we're in issue 4 right now, and Marchion Ro is finally named. We are on Ord Mantell. The Force is a mountain. They are meditating. Zine is concerned about the message she sent to Crix and not having a response. And out of nowhere, alarms blare, 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 blare. Preparing to go against a Nihil outpost. Ships are leaving, but without Padawans. We flip to the Quanti 11 Junk Moon, or whatever, it's Quantix Junk Moon. It sort of reminds me of Ragnarok a little bit with that junk planet. Ro's diversion force is successful, so he used the transmitter to lure the Jedi to a certain point for a good reason. Uh-oh. They are on a trash planet with these things called the Junk Mavens. One of them creates their own diversion, and Ro hands Crix a weapon and is like, go after that thing and don't let it get away. So Crix races after the, I guess, a bird-like creature. I just called it. And he fires, shoom, 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 but misses. We're in space. We have Master Sai, buckets of blood, and Master Yoda. They're in formation. The Jedi engage the Nihil. Choom, 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 choom. The Padawans complain about being left alone. But before we get there, let's look at this. This is by far one of the coolest galactic data files that we have. So this is called Lightsabers of the High Republic. Look at this. Padawan Farzala's lightsaber, Master Turbin's lightsaber, Master Katan's lightsaber. Look, the inert power insulator, the Kyber Crystal, the blade emitter. We've got Yoda's lightsaber, which we already know about. We have the focusing lens. We've got the innards of lightsabers, cycling field energizers. And then, of course, our good buddy sort of taking that lightsaber apart, which is really cool. So I thought that was neato cool to have that going. I can't believe they left me behind. Don't worry about it. You will be involved in just a second. We are back to the Junk Moon. Crix catches up with the bird-like creature and says, don't you move, and then decides at this point to send a message to Zine about, we should get out of here, run away, do something different from this. We got to get away. Unfortunately, the bird-like creature gets away again, and he fires and misses again. Back to space. All the Nihil ships have been destroyed, but Yoda is real sus about this easy victory. On Ord Mantell, Lula looks for Zine, but she's gone. The holo projector has an unsent message on it, though. What does it mean? Back to the Junk Moon. Crix looks, but it's too late. The bird-like creature sends out a distress call. Beep, 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 beep. Ord Mantell. Zine leaves a message that she has to deal with Crix, but she'll be back. She left Cham Cham because, they basically said, hey, I'm going to leave Cham Cham, so I will be back. The Padawans jump into a vector like a clown car. Like a clown car, right? And they are trying to get to the Junk Moon. Meanwhile, in space, a distress call from the Junk Moon comes in. The Masters are now on their way, whilst Starlight Beacon is notified. We flip the page. The Junk Moon is in our atmosphere, and Zine approaches the Junk Moon, and that is how Chapter 4 ends. Do, 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 do. So everybody's meeting up on this junk moon. What's going to happen? Is Crick's going to earn Marchion Ro's trust? Is Zine going to be able to talk him out of going with the Nile? Who knows? But number 5 in the High Republic. Before we get there, of course, we've got Choomy Chooms, and I've always been fascinated about lightsabers and the parts of them. I agree with you. I've always wanted to see the building of a lightsaber on a show. Do we get Kenobi taking apart Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber? Kind of like in this fashion? And like a memory comes up and it's him. I don't, if there was, I mean, if Rey had a Force vision when she touched the lightsaber in 7, it's reason to believe that we will have something like that. All right. Crix, you gotta hit your shots, bro. Come on, man. Gotta break that shield. No, she left because she's mad about something and left her companion. She just signed her death certificate. Okay, good prediction. Let's see what happens. Number 5. Here we go. Star Wars The High Republic. Let's look at the cover. Look again. Marchion Ro, front and center. Crix, Lula, Zine, looking angry as ever, and Yoda. Yoda. Here we go. A lot of the covers look very alike. Friends divided. Following a daring battle against Nile forces, Master Yoda, buckets of blood, and Cantum Sai raced to the junk heap moon of Quantix. I'm just going to call it Quantix. In answer to a distress call from their wayward Padawans. Meanwhile, Lula, Talasola, Court, and Farzala search for their friend Zine, who has gone to confront her one-time friend Crix Kamrat, who hopes she can save him from the evil Marchion Ro. And once again, showdown on the junk moon. Zine is searching for Crix and finds him. Crix is still after the person who set off the distress call. He sees the vector and fires on it, but notices that it's Zine, but it's too late. The vector falls from the sky. Meanwhile, the junk mavens start to fight the Nile, and Ro orders a full-on attack. No survivors. No survivors. Padawans join the battle while they look for the hollow signal. The other Padawans are like, we got this. Lula, go find them. Crix and Zine talk, but Crix is too far gone. He leaves her for Ro. The Masters try to find the Padawans to get help from Tromac, who escaped, hates the Jedi, but now that they have a common enemy, hey, we got a common enemy. Let's work together here. Tromac and Yoda chat about the ancient relic, and Tromac will trust him if he leaves his comlic, because apparently they met before in Dalna. And what's interesting about Master Tromac and Yoda, they are both designated as centuries old, right? Yoda is about 200 at this point. I'm guessing No, that doesn't make any sense. He is 700, 668 or whatever. And Tromac is also old, so they had this little incident back on Dalna. And anytime they bold something, I write it down because that may come back a little bit later. The battle rages on, and the junk mavens call a giant Savrip. I feel like I've heard of Savrips before, but I don't know from where. Meanwhile, Lula searches for Zine. She sees her chasing after Crix. Masters catch up with the Padawans, and but they hold while the Masters goes to. The Padawans are like, we got this, Masters. Go find Lula. She's probably going to need your help. Zine catches Crix and is so angry with him that she force chokes him. Whoa, that's a lot of hate and anger. And Lula goes, this is not our way, Zine. You have to let him go. Oh no, what is that? The Nile. Wuzum. Ba-da, ba-da, gada, ba-da. She's blocking. Hold fire. What? And then Marchion Ro's like, come with me, Crix, right now. And he's got to make that decision. Crix jumps. Boom. Zine holds the ship in place, and they're like, what's happening? And it's like, it feels like we're caught in a tractor beam. So Zine is holding, Lula then joins in, then everybody joins in to hold this ship, this little small ship in place. They call the spider ship, the Nile ship, to grab on to the smaller Nile cruiser. The spider cruiser has it, and they exit out to hyperspace using the path engine. We now cut to the Republic outpost on Ord Mantell. The Padawans reunite. They're happy to be alive. Master Yoda, though, did not return because he went with Tromac on his little mission. They are at Vrant Tarnum, but they get shot at by drones. Ro is on the planet already. Zine is thinking that she is being sent away, but Sai says that they're just going to help her. Crix is wondering why Ro brought him to find this galaxy-changing relic. And again, another parallel storyline here. Parallel storyline. Okay. Crix is wondering why Ro brought him to find this galaxy-changing relic. It's like a family thing for them. Ro asks Crix to handle this new Nile outpost and hands him like one of his old helmets, and he dons it. That's where this is. That's Marchion Ro, no helmet. Zine is asked to help defend the Jedi. They both agree by saying, of course, I'll do whatever it needs to be done. And that ends part 1 of the High Republic adventures. So again, in my opinion, off to a really cool start. Again, it's a focus in on a younger crowd, a Padawan crowd. But I appreciate kind of any Star Wars story that's new, interesting, and different, and it's sort of showing that difference here. So we have High Republics 1 through 5 right there. We've got a pretty interesting story, and in the chamber, in the comic shelf over here, we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 to actually get through. I'm assuming that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is part 2, and then 11, 12, and then I think 13 just came out is the beginning of part 3, and I'm assuming it's going to end at 15, which would be the end of part 3. So if we do this right, we're going to catch up to part 2 next week. We'll do a little side story again. And then the week, what is this, 4? So 5 will be part 2. 6 will be some of part 3. But we're going to have to wait for the rest of that to come out. So we'll probably, after part 2, we'll probably shift gears a little bit and go somewhere else in the High Republic. Because there's 2 series. One's 5 issues long and one's 4 issues long that are worthy of a full story breakdown. So let's get to some comics for that last part. Obi-Wan just gets a flashback of a legless Anakin saying, I hate you. I bet you that happens. Cool if we can get a side story of Yoda and Tromac. Maybe one day. Dramatic Foom. Dang, if she didn't die. Oh, I mean, so happy she's alive. Stop it. All issues do have a neat art style, for sure. So, as we transition back to our big FaceTime, we'll be right back. That's exactly how Extra Star Wars handles comics. We just go over 5 or 6 issues at a time. I'll then take the broadcast and break it down later and individually post them out. So again, if you didn't get a chance to look at that, Lizard Wizard, of course, thank you for joining me. Check out the playlist over at StarWars.com. Stop it. Over at YouTube. Extra Star Wars channel. And if you just want a quick link, go to bio.link/extra techie, scroll down to the Extra Star Wars link, and you'll be able to find it there as well. But listen, if you want to join me over on Twitch in just a few minutes, we're going to play some Mario Kart for March 10th day, and that's what we're going to do. So twitch.tv/extra techie. I'll be on in the next 5-ish or so minutes as I put the comics away, make sure they're nice and safe, and get set up for some Mario Kart action. It's been a pleasure, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Special shout out to Lizard Wizard for joining me the entire stream, chatting and getting highlighted every single time. We will see you next week. Goodbye now.